I married a man who argued with parking meters. Not aggressively, strategically. Ethan would circle a block for 15 minutes to avoid paying $3. He compared grocery prices across 3 stores, cut dryer sheets in half, and once returned a $4 lamp because he found it cheaper online after tax. Waste compounds, he liked to say. Leaks sink ships. He wore the same 2 jackets, drove a 12-year-old sedan with a mismatched mirror, and kept a spreadsheet for our monthly utilities down to the cent. When we dated, I thought it was discipline. When we got engaged, I called it stability. When we married, I called it normal. We lived in a narrow rental townhouse with creaky stairs and a landlord who fixed nothing correctly the first time. Ethan insisted renting was financially superior in this market cycle. He said owning too early trapped people. Liquidity equals freedom, he'd tell me. We split bills proportionally, his idea, because he claimed his freelance consulting income fluctuated wildly. Some months tight, some months okay, never abundant. I never saw exact client names. NDAs, he said, and that checked out in tech work, so I didn't push. Our honeymoon was a 2-day road trip to a state park cabin he booked with reward points and a coupon stack. I didn't mind. I told friends we were low-key people. Looking back, low-key was the costume. The first crack appeared because of a flat tire. Not dramatic, just inconvenient. I picked up his phone to call roadside assistance while he wrestled with a trunk liner looking for the jack. Use the insurance app, he said. Faster. It needs your login, I replied. Face ID works. It did. The app opened, but not to roadside. It opened to the policy overview screen first. Coverage amount. Dwelling, $4,800,000. I frowned. Why does your renter's insurance think you own a castle? He didn't look up.
Glitch.
They bundle templates. It lists an address. Old client property I consulted on. Ignore it. I almost did. But I screenshotted it. Reflex, not suspicion. The way you screenshot weird errors to send later. Roadside came, tire changed, day resumed. He never asked about the screenshot, which meant he forgot, which meant it mattered. That night, curiosity nudged harder than politeness. I opened the screenshot again. Property address, local, gated neighborhood I'd only driven past once, the kind with stone walls and private street signs. Not rental territory. I searched the county property records database. Public, boring, reliable. Address entered. Owner. Hale Family Holdings, LLC. Mailing contact. Ethan Hale. My husband. The man who diluted dish soap with water was the listed contact for a $4.8 million residence. I didn't feel betrayal first. I felt math confusion. Maybe same name, common enough. Maybe different Ethan Hale. I clicked the document history. Property tax correspondence PDF loaded. Signature block. His signature.
Not similar.
Exact. I heard the shower running upstairs. Water against tile. Ordinary sound. Unreal context. I checked purchase date. 3 years ago. We'd been dating too. You don't own, you trap liquidity, he had said once when I mentioned mortgages. Except apparently, he owned a mansion through an LLC while explaining thrift to me with spreadsheets. I printed the record. Quietly. Folded it into a cookbook on the shelf. Temporary evidence cache. No confrontation without a full picture. That's a rule I learned from watching my parents' messy divorce. When he came down later, hair damp, wearing the faded college t-shirt with a torn collar, he kissed my head and asked what I wanted for dinner. Whatever's cheapest, I said. He smiled proudly. 3 days later, the second crack appeared, bigger. His laptop chimed while he was outside taking a call. Just a calendar alert, visible on the lock screen. Staff. Westgate, 9 a.m.
Staff.
Westgate.
Not freelance. Vocabulary.
I didn't touch the laptop boundary, but I photographed the screen. When he came back in, I asked casually, "What's Westgate?" "Client building in trance," he said smoothly. "Security badge side." "What client?" "Rotating." Always rotating. Never named. That night I searched the mansion address again, this time maps view. Satellite image zoomed in. Front gate labeled on map overlay. West Gate. Not a client entrance. A property entrance. My pulse finally changed tempo. I created a new notes file and titled it, Ethan, Asset Discrepancy Log. Not accusation. Discrepancy. Because language shapes investigation. Entry 1. Insurance dwelling value. Entry 2. Property record. Entry 3. Westgate calendar alert. Patterns begin as footnotes. The fourth entry arrived on its own. A letter came in the mail. Thick paper. Embossed crest. Forwarded from incorrect address routing. I opened it. Inside. Annual household staff bonus schedule. Hale residents. Names. Roles.
Amounts.
Total payroll line at the bottom that exceeded our combined yearly income. I heard Ethan's key in the door as I folded the letter back into the envelope. Smooth, controlled, heart steady now. Because shock had passed. Audit mode had begun. Audit mode had begun. I slid the embossed envelope into the back of the pantry behind the flour canister. Low-tech hiding beats clever hiding, and turned the stove on like I'd been standing there the whole time. Ethan walked in carrying a discount grocery bag and looking pleased with himself. Manager's special chicken, he said. 30% off because of date code. We freeze tonight. Nice. I replied evenly. I watched him move, same worn sneakers, same frayed wallet, same careful way of rinsing the bag to reuse it. No behavioral drift. If this was an act, it was method level. Any mail, he asked. Coupons and a water bill, I said. Not technically a lie, just incomplete data. Good, he said. I'm calling the internet company later. They raised us $6. $6. And apparently also managing a staffed estate. While he cut vegetables with precise, economical strokes, I ran a soft probe. Do any of your clients have live-in staff? I asked casually. Some exec households, he said. Why? Just curious. Seems complicated. It is, he replied. That's why they overpay consultants. Overpay. Interesting word choice. How overpay? I asked. Depends on the mess, he said. Wealth equals mess. And you clean messes. I optimize systems, he corrected automatically. Language again. After dinner, he opened his laptop to work at the table. Unusual, he normally used the small desk upstairs. I assumed caution, proximity control, or coincidence. I didn't guess. I logged. He went to take a call on the porch 10 minutes later, leaving the screen awake. I didn't touch the keyboard. But I did read. Calendar pane open, color-coded categories. Blue, client green, finance gold, estate. Estate. Multiple entries this week. Grounds, irrigation audit kitchen vendor, tasting security rotation, Westgate. Not client work. Property operations. I photographed 3 angles, no reflection, no flash. When he came back in, he closed the laptop immediately. Not suspicious by itself, but faster than usual. You're working late, I said. Quarter end, he replied. For freelancers? He smiled. For organized ones. That answer was built, not spoken. At 11:40 p.m., after he fell asleep, I got up and retrieved the pantry envelope and my printed property record. I added both to a folder and tucked it into my car trunk under the emergency kit. Evidence should never live where the subject sleeps. Next morning, I tested something small. I might drive through Oak Ridge today, I said over coffee. Shortcut to the craft store. Oak Ridge was the gated neighborhood. He looked up too fast. Road work there. Maps didn't show any. They don't update private zones well. True, I said. Micro-deflection, smooth, but instant. Why Oak Ridge, he asked. Pretty houses, I smiled. Overrated, he said. Money pits. From a man apparently running one. At 9:02 a.m., his phone buzzed on the counter while he was upstairs. Screen lit with message preview. Gate camera offline, West, need reset approval. Sender name. Hale's Secretary Ops. Security operations. Not freelance clients. I didn't touch it, just photographed. Upstairs, I heard him moving quickly, floorboard tempo different, like someone who also saw the alert on his watch. He came down already typing. Client fire drill, he said before I asked. I nodded like I believed it. Because premature confrontation reduces information yield, another audit rule. After he left for client site, I drove to Oak Ridge. Main gate, guard booth, camera, license scan. I didn't try to enter. Instead, I parked at a public trail lot across the road and walked the perimeter path that runs along the back fencing. 6-foot stone wall, tasteful, expensive, consistent with the property photos. 2 minutes in, I reached a section where elevation gave a partial sight line through trees. Roofline visible. Not a castle, but close. Glass, slate, terraces, pool structure. Occupied, maintained, active. Not abandoned legacy property. A black SUV rolled through the internal drive and stopped near the west side structure. Driver got out. Uniform, earpiece. Staff. I recorded 10 seconds of video, slow pan, landmark trees included for geolocation proof. My phone buzzed while I was filming. Unknown number. Text. You're early. I froze, not dramatically, just internally, like a system pause. I scanned the trail. Empty. New message. If you're going to audit, do it from the East Ridge, fewer cameras. Not a threat. Guidance. I replied. Who is this? Answer came immediately. Payroll. That word hit with strange precision. I wrote. Meaning.
Reply.
I work for your husband. And you're not on the employee list, which means you're not supposed to know yet.
Yet.
I didn't answer right away. Messages sent too fast reveal emotional position. I stepped off the trail, sat on a fallen log, and reread the thread like evidence, not conversation. You're early. Audit from East Ridge. Payroll. Not supposed to know yet. Language matched internal operations tone, not troll tone, not scam tone. Specific, procedural, calm. I typed.
Name. Reply. Call me Nora.
Not my real name. Not safe yet. Not safe yet. Not for me, for her. I wrote. Why contact me? 3 dots.
Pause.
Then, because spouses find out 2 ways, collapse or briefing. I prefer briefing. I almost smiled. That was an auditor's answer. I stood and walked the longer loop toward the East Ridge, overlook she mentioned. 15 minutes later, the angle opened, partial view over the rear grounds, clearer line of sight, and no visible cameras pointed outward. She was right. I recorded again. Longer clip, pool staff setting chairs, grounds crew vehicle, delivery truck entering a side gate labeled service. Hail residents.
Hail.
Not client. I texted. Proof you're internal. She sent a photo instantly, cropped. Computer screen, payroll dashboard header. Hail Family Holdings, household staff portal. Below it, blurred names, roll columns, pay bands, and at the top right corner, today's date. Live system. I wrote.
Why help me?
Answer. Because bonus letters shouldn't reach wives who think they're splitting internet bills. That means containment failed. When containment fails, truth travels. Containment. Operational word again. I asked the question that mattered most. What is he containing? Longer pause this time. Identity split, she wrote. Lifestyle firewall. You live on the firewall side. That phrase landed clean and technical. Explain. 2 lives, controlled leak between them. You're on the low exposure side. Meaning. Intentional underexposure. I took a slow breath and logged the term in my notes app. Entry 4, lifestyle firewall.
My phone rang, Ethan.
I let it ring twice. Normal delay, then answered.
Hey, I said.
Where are you? He asked, neutral tone, but location check question first, not greeting first. Craft store side. I replied. True enough by radius. Network's been spotty, you get my message? He asked. No, I said. Good, handled, he replied quickly, which meant he knew something triggered. Busy day.
I asked.
Gate issue, he said, then caught himself. Client gate issue. I didn't react. Talk tonight, he added. Love you. Love you too, I said, because truth timing matters, and hung up. I texted Nora. He just said gate issue unprompted.
Reply. Yes.
Westgate camera actually went offline. Not accident.
Test. Test. For who?
For leak paths, she wrote. We run false outages to see which channel reacts. He reacted from personal device, not estate console, which means he's managing directly today. That's unusual, meaning deviation from pattern. Why unusual? Because owners don't run ops. Managers do. Owner. Not consultant. Owner. I left the trail and returned to my car, locked the doors, and reviewed everything so far like a case file. Insurance dwelling value, LLC property record, staff payroll letter, estate calendar entries, gate security message, physical property confirmation, internal payroll contact, lifestyle firewall model. Pattern strength, high. I drove home, but didn't go inside right away. Instead, I opened business registry records on my phone and searched. Hale Family Holdings LLC. Result loaded. Members. Ethan Hale. Managing member. Secondary member. Hale Legacy Trust.
Trust.
Not freelance. Generational. I searched Hale Legacy Trust. Registered agent address. Same as the mansion. Formation date. 12 years ago. This wasn't sudden wealth. This was inherited infrastructure. I texted Nora. How wealthy is the estate? Answer came back in under 10 seconds. Asset class. Ultra high net worth. Liquid plus holdings approximate 70, 90 M depending on markets. I stared at the number until it became a shape instead of a shock. 70 to 90 million. I wrote, why live poor with me?
Pause.
Then, because marriages are risk vectors. Disclosure changes leverage. Low exposure spouses are easier to protect and easier to exit.
Protect.
Exit. Both in one sentence.
Which am I?
Undecided, she wrote. I didn't like that answer, which made it likely honest. New message from her arrived immediately after. Do not confront without documentation. There is a prenuptial rider you haven't seen. I typed back. I never signed a prenup.
Reply. Correct.
You signed a post-nuptial addendum disguised as tax paperwork. Check your closing folder. My stomach dropped, not emotionally, procedurally, because I remembered the stack he rushed me through after the wedding, accounting alignment forms. I drove straight to the bank where we kept the share document box. And that's when I realized this wasn't just hidden wealth. It was structured secrecy. This wasn't just hidden wealth. It was structured secrecy. The bank lobby smelled like printer toner and carpet cleaner, normal, boring, exactly the kind of place where dangerous paperwork hides in plain folders. I signed in, showed ID, and requested access to our shared document box. Shared. That word mattered. If he truly ran two lives, either this box was sanitized or it was a mistake. The clerk led me into the viewing room, small desk, camera dome, neutral walls. I opened the metal box and set the folders out in rows like evidence trays. Marriage certificate, copy. Insurance binders. Tax organizer packet. Household financial alignment forms. That last one, beige folder, his label, his handwriting. I opened it. Top pages were exactly what I remembered. Joint filing preference checklists, beneficiary placeholders, account routing worksheets, the kind of boring forms you sign quickly because they look administrative. Then page 7 changed tone. Denser language. Smaller print. Legal structure paragraphs. Header. Spousal risk and privacy addendum. Schedule C. I went still. Not because I didn't understand it, but because I did. Key clauses highlighted in gray. Spouse acknowledges asset separation protocols. Spouse agrees to lifestyle variance without disclosure obligation. Spouse waives inquiry rights into protected family holdings. Spouse accepts security-driven non-disclosure conditions. Breach triggers automatic settlement cap. Settlement cap. Amount listed. $120,000, lump sum. Full release. I actually laughed once, quiet, involuntary. That number was smaller than the staff holiday bonus pool in the letter.
My signature sat at the bottom. Real.
Witness line, notary stamp, valid. He hadn't forged it. He had buried it. I photographed every page, every stamp, every margin note, including the drafting law firm name. I texted Nora the header photo. Reply came fast.
Yes.
That's the firewall contract. Standard for legacy families. Not standard for uninformed spouses. Uninformed doing a lot of work there. I wrote, "Is this enforceable?" "Only if informed consent provable," she replied. "Speed signing under misrepresentation weakens it. Judges dislike concealment."
Good.
I scanned the rest. Appendix section labeled. Residence classification. Tier disclosure. Tier 3 spouse. Limited exposure Tier 2 spouse. Partial estate awareness Tier 1 spouse. Integrated. My box was checked. Tier 3. I took a photo and sent it. Her reply, "Yes." That's the lowest. Usually short duration marriages or political covers. Political covers. New category unlocked. I packed everything back exactly as found. Order preserved, tamper invisible, and returned the box. In the car, I created a second notes file. Firewall contract. Evidence log. Because this was no longer suspicion, it was architecture. My phone buzzed. Ethan again. I answered.
Hey, I said.
"Everything okay?" he asked, soft, checking tone. Not content.
Yes. Why?
"You sound structured," he said. "Interesting read." "Bank paperwork," I replied. "Always makes me structured." Pause, half beat then. "Which paperwork?" "Phishing. Tax folder." I said, "True but incomplete." "Ah," he replied. "Good initiative." Initiative. Not curiosity. Not confusion. Initiative, operational vocabulary again. "We should review those together tonight," he added. He didn't know what I'd found, but he knew the folder category was sensitive. "Sure," I said easily. "Teach me." "Always," he said, warm, practiced, and hung up. I texted Nora. "He wants to review docs tonight."
Reply.
Expected. Trigger likely flagged. Do not show full awareness yet. Ask about tier levels casually. Watch response latency. Latency, yes. Truth has lower latency than lies. I drove home and staged normalcy. Groceries out, laundry started, music on, baseline behavior reduces counter-surveillance suspicion. At 6:12 p.m., a black sedan idled across the street for 90 seconds. Not a neighbor car. Not delivery. Windows too dark. I photographed it through curtain gap. Sent to Nora. "Security sweep vehicle," she replied. "You're now on awareness watch. That means your discovery registered somewhere."
How?
"Document box access logs," she wrote. "Legacy banks notify family offices automatically." Of course they did. Meaning the estate knew before Ethan did, or at least at the same time. Meaning timeline accelerated. New message from Nora. "There is one more property, not the mansion, that matters more." I typed. "What property?" Reply. "The family residence is wealth. The archive residence is power." Archive. Define. Records, leverage files, settlement vaults, political favors, NDAs, everything.
Where?
Long pause. Then, under the mansion. Below it. Not a house. A vault. And I was married to the man pretending he couldn't afford premium trash bags. And I was married to the man pretending he couldn't afford premium trash bags while sitting on top of a private archive vault. I didn't message Nora back right away. Big claims deserve controlled follow-up, not excited typing. Instead, I wrote one word in my log. Archive verify. Ethan came home at 6:47, 7 minutes earlier than his rolling average arrival time. Yes, I had that number, not because I was suspicious before, but because I like patterns. Now, the pattern liked me back. He carried the discount groceries and kissed my cheek like always. But his eyes scanned the room first. Not obvious, not paranoid, just a practice sweep. Entry assessment. I'd seen it before and labeled it detail-oriented. Now it relabeled itself. "Good day," he asked. "Administrative," I said. "Yours?" "Operational," he replied. That word again. We cooked together. He measured rice by weight, not volume. Normal Ethan behavior. Consistency is the strongest disguise. Halfway through dinner, I deployed Nora's probe. "Quick question," I said lightly. "On those tax forms, what's the difference between tier spouse levels?" Latency test. Fork paused midair. Not dropped.
Paused.
1.5 seconds, long enough to build an answer, not recall one. Different disclosure brackets, he said. Mostly for celebrity families. Celebrity, deflection class, irrelevant prestige. Which tier am I? I asked, smiling. Why would you be in a tier system? He countered, answering with a question, delay tactic. Because the form said so. I replied evenly. Another pause, shorter, recalibration. Probably full disclosure, he said. Default. Wrong answer.
I nodded like that satisfied me.
Latency plus inaccuracy equals deception confirmed. After dinner, he brought his laptop to the table again, control through proximity pattern repeating. Let's review the paperwork, he said. Sure, I answered. Grab it. He went upstairs. That gave me 40 to 60 seconds, typical retrieval window. My phone buzzed. Nora. Do not show him the archive clause yet. Make him explain the model first. I typed.
Copy.
He came back with a thinner folder than the bank version. Sanitized copy set. He'd already split the document stack. He opened to the friendly pages, checklists, summaries, nothing with the addendum header. This is what you signed, he said. No addendum? I asked casually, flipping. Appendices aren't relevant to us, he replied smoothly. Not relevant. I smiled. Explain them anyway. I like learning. Flattery. Lowers guard. They're for complex families, he said. Security, inheritance disputes, kidnapping risk, that sort of thing. Kidnapping risk, volunteered. Interesting. So not us, I said. Not us, he confirmed. Direct lie, now logged. My phone buzzed, unknown new number, short message. Do you have access to his old blue key? I kept my face neutral. Blue key. Memory clicked. His old keyring, the one he replaced last month, had a small blue anodized key he said belonged to a storage locker he closed. I tossed the old ring into the junk drawer. I replied one-handed under the table. Maybe.
Reply.
Do not mention it. That opens the archive level. Archive level, not just archive.
I asked.
Who is this? Answer. Records. Different from payroll. Multiple internal sources now. I wrote. Prove internal. Photo arrived. Instant. Dim room. Metal shelving. Banker boxes. Barcode. Label visible. Hail, legacy archive, sublevel. Sublevel. Under. I felt the pieces lock. Ethan was still explaining sanitized clauses, tone calm, teacher mode, the same voice he used when explaining coupon stacking. So basically, it just keeps accounting clean, he finished. Clean is good, I said. Clean is safe, he corrected. Safety obsession, consistent across both lives, just applied differently. Random question, I added. Where is your old blue key from the storage unit? His eyes lifted sharply. Micro surprise. First uncontrolled reaction of the night. Why? He asked. Latency spike. 2 seconds. Decluttering, I said. Key bowl audit. He smiled, but tight. Expired locker. Gone. Okay. He changed subject immediately. Subject shift equals pressure point confirmed. At 9:18 p.m., power flickered. Once. Quick. He looked toward the window instantly. Not at the breaker panel. Outside. Phone buzzed in his pocket. He checked. Stood up. Client outage, he said. Need 10 minutes. He stepped onto the porch to call. I messaged Nora. Power flicker. Reaction immediate.
Reply.
Archive runs on isolated circuit. Flicker means transfer test or access event. Access event.
Now, I asked.
Is someone entering the vault?
Pause. Yes.
Unscheduled. That's why sweep car earlier. Something moved. What moved? A marriage file. My pulse finally jumped, not fear, velocity. Which file? 3 dots. Then, yours. Outside, Ethan's voice carried through the screen door, low, controlled, not panicked, but firm. No. She doesn't know depth, only surface. Hold position, I'll contain.
Contain.
Not explain. Not clarify.
Contain.
I started a new log entry. Containment protocol active, subject aware of discovery. And for the first time since this began, I stopped feeling like the one behind. I stopped feeling like the one behind, because once someone switches to containment mode, their moves get narrower, not wider. Containment is reactive. Audit is proactive. Ethan came back inside exactly 8 minutes later, not rushed, not slow, calibrated. His expression was neutral warm, the same face he used when negotiating a cable bill reduction. "Client generator test," he said. "False alarm." "Good," I replied. "I like electricity." He smiled faintly, but his eyes checked my hands, my phone, the table, micro-inventory of what I might have touched while he was outside.
Tea, he offered.
"Yes," I said. Hospitality gesture after security call, classic emotional smoothing. While he filled the kettle, my phone buzzed again, records. "Archive access confirmed. Your file pulled and flagged." That means escalation tier moved. I typed with the phone low in my lap. Define escalation tier. From concealment, negotiation. That word again, negotiation, like the closet in the last story, I almost thought, then refocused. Negotiation means they believe I have leverage. I wrote, "What leverage?" "Marriage validity plus firewall breach plus archive awareness." "That's enough." Ethan returned with tea and sat across from me instead of beside me. "Interview positioning, not spouse positioning." "We should talk about long-term housing," he said. Topic jump. Forward frame. "Okay," I replied. "I've been considering a move," he continued. "More space. Better security." Security, not comfort, not commute security. "Rent or buy?" I asked.
Neither, he said.
"Family property." There was first voluntary crack in the wall.
Oh,
I smiled. "Didn't know you liked inherited houses." "Didn't before," he said. "Circumstances change." "What circumstances?" "Risk environment." "Language match with firewall contract." My phone buzzed. "Nora. He's been instructed to transition you to Tier 2 awareness. Partial truth reveal. Do not accept first version. It will be minimized." I sipped tea. "What kind of risk environment?" "Data breaches, executive targeting, that sort of thing," he said. "You have executives now?" I asked. I advised them. "From our townhouse." "Location independence," he replied smoothly. "Of course." He leaned forward slightly. "If I told you my family had assets I don't talk about, how would you react?" Test question. Measuring blast radius. "Depends," I said. "Assets or secrets?" "Overlap," he answered. "Then I'd want numbers and rules." He studied me, recalculating strategy because panic would have validated his concealment model, and I wasn't giving him that. "How much do you think my family is worth?" he asked. "More than a premium trash bag," I said. He laughed. Real. Tension leak. "Fair." My phone buzzed. Records again. Blue key opens sublevel elevator, not storage locker. "Do not let him relocate you before you duplicate the file set." Relocate. Timeline tightening. I typed. "Where is key used?" "West structure. Pool house. Mechanical room. Panel B." Matches my East Ridge video. West side structure near pool. Ethan was still talking. "So the idea would be temporary, just until exposure drops." Exposure. Not stress, not logistics, exposure. "How exposed are we?" I asked.
We are not, he said.
"I am." Important correction. "From what?" I asked. "From visibility," he replied. Non-answer category. "Try nouns," I said gently. He smiled thinly. "From my last name." "They're almost truth." "Hail," I said. His eyes flicked. Micro-confirmation. He hadn't expected me to say it first. "Yes," he said quietly. "Hail." Like the property records. I added. Silence. Not shock. Recognition. "You went looking," he said. "Yes." "How far?" "Far enough to stop believing in coupon poverty." He exhaled. Long. Decision point reached. "Okay," he said. "Then here is the partial truth." Partial. He labeled it himself. Useful. "My family owns significant real assets," he continued. "Primary residence included. Mansion included," I said. He didn't correct me. "Yes." "Staff included." "Yes." "Security included." "Yes." "Archive vault included." That one hit. His stillness changed quality, not confusion, threat assessment. Who told you that term? He asked quietly. Your paperwork, I replied. Technically true. Archive clause referenced records control. He watched me for a full 3 seconds, longest direct read yet. That level is not for you, he said. Neither was the marriage addendum, I answered. We held eye contact, negotiation table invisible but fully built now. My phone buzzed, Nora. They are scheduling a controlled disclosure meeting tomorrow. Location: the mansion. You will be invited, framed as trust expansion. It is actually leverage calibration. I typed. Should I go? Yes, with copies, witnesses, and questions, not emotions. Ethan finally spoke again. I want you to meet my family office tomorrow, he said. Right on schedule. Where? I asked. He hesitated, then committed. At the house. He said it like a gift, like access, like promotion, not like risk containment strategy approved by a family office boardroom. Okay, I said. Not eager. Not afraid. Neutral acceptance, the hardest reaction to manipulate. Tomorrow morning, he added. Driver will pick us up. Us. Controlled transport, predictable. Or I can drive. I offered lightly. No, he said too fast. Then softened it. Security protocol, first visit. Protocol, not preference, authority shift away from husband toward system. Understood, I nodded. My phone buzzed, Nora. Do not arrive empty-handed. Bring copies visibly. Signals awareness and reduces coercion probability. I typed. What copies? Firewall addendum, property record, archive clause header, insurance screenshot. Leverage packet. Built already. Ethan stood and rinsed his cup, movement tight. Mind elsewhere, likely messaging handlers now that disclosure phase had begun. Get some rest, he said. Tomorrow will be different. Different is fine, I replied. Are you angry? He asked finally, emotional temperature check. No, I said truthfully. I'm informed. That answer unsettled him more than anger would have. I didn't sleep much, not from fear, from preparation. I printed duplicates, uploaded encrypted copies to 2 separate cloud vaults, and scheduled a timed email release to my attorney friend with subject line. If sent, call me first, not him. Fail-safe matters. Morning came with a black sedan at exactly 8 a.m. Uniformed driver. No small talk. Rear door opened. Respect theater. Ethan watched me closely as I got in, looking for tremor, hesitation, rebellion. I gave him none. We drove through Oak Ridge's main gate this time. Guard saluted. Not waved, saluted. Hierarchy confirmed. The mansion up close was quieter than expected, wealth often is. No flashy fountains, just scale and precision. Landscaping trimmed to algorithmic symmetry. We entered through the west gate. West, the same gate from the alerts. I logged it mentally. Inside, not marble palace, but controlled elegance. Museum calm. Staff movement silent and efficient. No one looked surprised to see me, which meant briefing had already occurred. We were led not to a living room but to a conference room. Negotiations site confirmed. 3 people waited, 2 suited, 1 older woman with a tablet and reading glasses. Not family matriarch, family office director archetype. Mrs. Hale, she said to me, not using my maiden name, deliberate positioning. Thank you for coming. Not welcome. Thank you. Transaction language. I prefer my first name, I said pleasantly. She smiled thinly. Of course. Folders sat on the table. Mirrored sets. 1 for them, 1 for me. I placed my own envelope on top. Visible. Signal sent. Informed party present. Latency ripple. All 3 noticed. Good, the woman said softly. That saves time. We sat. She began. You discovered assets outside your disclosure tier, she said. Correct, I replied. You accessed restricted contract schedules. Yes. You contacted internal staff. Yes. No denial strategy, only acknowledgement. It shifts power balance because it removes accusation leverage. She nodded once. Then we'll skip containment and move to terms. Terms. Not apology. Not explanation. Terms. What terms? I asked. Disclosure upgrade to Tier 2, she said. Financial stipend adjustment. Residence transition. Revised post-nuptial with awareness language. Payment for silence structured. Settlement cap removal? I asked. She glanced at Ethan, brief, annoyed. He hadn't told her I read it that closely. Yes, she said. Archive clause waiver? I added. Longer pause. Partial, she answered. I slid my copies across the table, highlighted, tabbed. Full, I said calmly. Or independent counsel and civil filing. No emotion, just path options. Negotiation math only works when both sides believe you'll execute. She reviewed the tabs, quick, professional, recalculating risk. You came prepared, she said. I'm married prepared, I replied. Small silence. Then, shift. Full archive waiver, she agreed. With confidentiality bond. Mutual, I said. Yes. Residence choice optional, not required. She considered, then nodded. Optional. Independent asset audit rights.
Pause.
Yes, limited scope. Defined scope, I corrected. Defined, she agreed. Ethan watched like a man, realizing the meeting wasn't about introducing his wife to wealth. It was about renegotiating her classification. Final question, the one that mattered beyond money. Why hide it? I asked, not to him, to her. She answered without hesitation. Because most marriages fail under asymmetry shock, she said. We stage disclosure to protect asset continuity. You protect assets, I said. Yes. Who protects spouses? She met my eyes. The ones who read the paperwork. Fair answer. Meeting ended in 90 minutes. No threats. No drama. Just signatures scheduled and leverage balanced. As we walked out, Ethan finally spoke quietly. You're not what they expected. I'm exactly what your forms described, I said. You just didn't think I'd read them. Outside, my phone buzzed, Nora. Archive copy secured. Your file duplicated before purge. You're safe. I typed back. Thank you.
Reply.
You audited correctly. Most people argue. Auditors win. I looked back once at the mansion. Not with awe, with classification. Not fantasy. Infrastructure. And now, documented.